Thank you for participating today in what is the first of a series of panels that the Sacramento Valley Sun also is hosting as recipient of the statewide library grant, which we were very fortunate to receive. Today we're opening a very important door of discussion that really hasn't been frankly held. Today's panel asks the question, when is language misunderstood? When does language cross the line to propagate hate?
So when we talk about the use of language, I thought about that for a minute. I said, when do we decide to use language? Do we use it as an excuse? Do we use it out of frustration? Do we use it at a time when we feel threatened and the only thing that I have to get out of this person is to throw it in their face?
The tolerance level is being so high that now we have to take care of every single word that we say. Even as a single citizen, I can imagine people who are in the politics, the politicians, has to be even more careful.
To answer the question regarding language, I would like to begin with maybe the start of the pandemic in 2020 when COVID outbreaks were starting to appear and our supposed leaders at the time, like Trump, were perpetuating language that was inherently like anti-Asian, right? Likening the virus to Asian people and calling it the China virus. And then since the days of the start of the pandemic, we saw 150% increase in anti-Asian hate crimes and incidents. Some are just could be verbal harassment and in many cases escalated to physical violence.
At the very end of the day, for the sake of time, we have stereotypes and we can revisit that, but there's let me just say, it all comes back to us individually, and if we could understand this maybe this last parable I'm going to share. We wouldn't be going through all this, about name calling, making racist remarks, because that's what we brought up. All these things started by the power structure, because there's a need to dehumanize people if you do not exploit their labor.
Nury Martinez did not do us a favor in the court of public opinion because the word changuito is going to be misinterpreted as either was it behavior, right, or was it physicality. So that was my first thing. In the court of public opinion, didn't do us any favors.
Out on the streets, nobody talks like you guys are talking here. I'm out there in the streets. I'm in the private sector. I go into factories and people like, what? It's more like it seems like the political elite is making a big thing out of the situation.
While the language that was displayed with Nury and the others in that meeting is disgusting, because it is, that's not the most important thing. I think this gentleman kind of touched on it a little bit. Like, what was the purpose of all of this? And I think, Nicole, you touched on it a little bit. Everyone's fighting for a piece of the pie.
I do want to stress that it is called when language is misunderstood or propagated, because I know the gentleman who was here, and unfortunately he left, made an issue about, words not being important. But this conversation is about language, how it's used and misused. So I wanted to bring it back for everyone and make it real, that we do have to be intentional about the language that we use.
Language creates policy. And what does policy create? Your life.